Good morning, everyone. In my series of talks with you, I will be touching upon certain topics that are not usually dealt with in classroom lectures at the postgraduate level. So, our first topic today is postmodernism. Now, most of the historians believe that postmodernism began in 1960s with the student movement in France. Thomas Doherty, the editor of Postmodernism, a reader, believes that he refers to Toynbee that postmodernism began during the World Wars between 1918 and 1939. There is, of course, a disagreement whether postmodernism arose to counter the philosophy of enlightenment that had shaped the mind and various socio-political structures of the West. Adorno and Horkheimer, in their book The Dialectics of Enlightenment, have suggested that Enlightenment philosophy was basically systemic and totalitarian. The kind of modernism that is produced was destined to become Unitarian and fascist. Modernism thus had two major systems, capitalism and socialism. It became integrative and unicentered. The main paradigm established by both the system was related to liberation with a single unified system, whether it was capitalism or socialism. However, these systems failed to deliver happiness and progress to humankind. Therefore, a rethinking began that the modernist enterprise paved the way for postmodernism and its variants. Some of the major thinkers of thinkers of postmodernism are Bataille, Lyotard, Derrida, Baudrillard, Bourdieu, Deleuze and Guattari, and Frederick Jameson. Lyotard, in his book The Postmodern Condition, a report on knowledge, published in French in 1979, launched the postmodern theory in a big way. He established that contradistinction with modern, the postmodern would be that which in modern puts forward the unpresentable in presentation itself. That which searches for new presentations not in order to enjoy them but in order to impart a stronger sense of unpresentable. So the stress here was not on presence but the unpresentable. Postmodernism was related to the problematic void after the loss of the center. The unpresentable refers both to the vanished God as well as the situation in which there is no unitive thinking or semiotic form to represent him. Lyotard's main contribution in this book is to call for a war on totality that the modernist project had constructed and justly imposed on various disciplines. Lyotard talks or contraposes meta-narratives with small narratives. Small narratives are the local geo-historical narratives that have their own dialectics. Lyotard has interpreted the use of language games through which various classes, groups, contest to establish their hegemony and disrupt the legitimacy of the hegemonic enterprise. This is called paralogy by Lyotard. Although postmodernism made an assertive appearance with Lyotard's work in late 30s and early 40s, the assault on the rationalist totalitarian perspective was very effectively made by Bataille. The hegemonic rationalist perspective that later on became Holocaust for Hitler was termed encephalus by Bataille. He even challenged the and criticized Marxist economism that organized the Western society on profit rather than on expenditure related to poetry and honor in primitive societies. Both Bataille talks about the unproductive energy and sexual exuberance which can liberate societies from these rational idealizations and lead to ecstasy, which later leads to poetry and happiness. Another postmodern anthropologist, Bourdieu, dismantled the classical notion of ideology and in its place replaced it with habitas. Habitas resists determinism and organizes life in view of the corresponding stances and transposable dispositions. He suggested the inadequacy of the scientific objectivist approach. Another path-breaking idea of Bourdieu is of the symbolic capital, by which he means knowledge and the knowledge-related equipment that a specific class uses and multiplies. The symbolic capital is also contestatory, conflictual, that is used by a class to cause symbolic violence by establishing its hegemony. This notion of Bourdieu has modified the classical Marxist notion of class, that is based on economic and linear ideology. Postmodernism suggests that a new reflexive consciousness has emerged, in which space time are combined, and this is very important. The idea has been elaborated by Anthony Giddens and Mark Featherstone. The result of this reflexivity is the togetherness of several cultural perspectives and their simultaneous practices in a single cultural moment. This kind of reflexivity and practice have dismantled the hegemony of any kind of system, consciousness, ideology. Although this reflexivity has emerged from the use of modernist technology, transportation, transcontinental institutional organization, yet it has led to disunitive thought, practice, bringing difference in the same structure. The postmodern emphasis is therefore on simultaneity, difference that refuse to be synthesized. The most significant elaboration has been made by the feminist writings of Sekou Irigaray, Ellen Kristeva. Kristeva's very vital word, abject, asserts women as different, that refuses to be synthesized into any unitive paradigm. She has even used filth as a marker. Another very important contribution has been made by Clifford Geertz in his work Interpretations of Cultures and Local Knowledge. He has emphasized the distinct semiotic system with which each local culture functions. He has elaborated this point by analyzing some Indonesian and African cultures. The relationship of the sign and encasement is based in geography and history. This specificity is an assault on the universalist and tutelative paradigm that was given by the Marxist and the structuralist systems. Frederick Jameson elaborates postmodernism under the influence of Ernest Mundane. He has related postmodernism to the logic of late capitalism, by which he means multinational capitalism, the complex expansion of which has become difficult to be cognitively mapped out by individual. For this reason, postmodernism to him is multi-perspectival but leading to multifrenia. Baudrillard has added to postmodernism through the notion of simulacra and object commodity. What Baudrillard means by simulacra is the predominance of images or objects through which capitalism affects the consciousness and action of the consumer. These simulacra have no foundation or referent. It is magical or seductive kind of effect through which they operate. This seduction has also been called fatal strategies. This mesmerizing and bewilderment of images has annihilated the subject and returned the consumable object in a perverse way. Baudrillard very ironically suggests to return to the subject annihilating object, which is a kind of negative messianism. Postmodernism has very vehemently attacked Oedipal, unitary, fascist authority. Deleuze and Guattari in their work Anti-Oedipus have presented Schizo as resistive to the Oedipal. Schizo has the libidinal natural energy intact, even when this energy is repressed on the model of Freud. The author suggests that the unconscious is capable of libidinal intensity that can never be appropriated by any system. So capitalism is both a catastrophe as well as a breakthrough. Its surfacing always systematizes and resists legitimization. From this perspective, Lyotard has developed a postmodern semiotic in his work Libidinal Economy. He has developed this notion of the libidinalized sign retaining intensities and not arming at conquest like the semiotics of Saussure, Peirce, etc. Thank you.